So we got the Grade 1 Haskell coming up. We are disappointed that are not seeing the height differential's favorite horse, Golden Tempo, as he's battling the sniffles, and it looks like he's pointing towards the Travers. But we do have a 7-horse field in the 59th Haskell at Monmouth Park, right off of Jersey Shore. 5 past winners have went on to win Horse of the Year honors. The most recent to do it was Authentic in 2020. American Pharaoh did it in 2015. We will go through the field. I think there's 5 horses maybe in this field that could win. 2 I would
Yes.
probably eliminate very quickly.
Yes.
But we start off with Star Sweeper, ridden by Luis Rivera, trained by Louis Linder. And he's what, 30
30 to
30
1.
30 to 1?
Yeah.
Definitely deservedly the longest shot on the board. Does this horse deserve any consideration?
No, zero consideration. But if we say he has zero consideration, then that means he's probably going to get up at least maybe for first or second, because we don't know what the hell we're talking about on here. So, anyways, Star Sweeper. I mean, he's the clear outlier. I mean, he's both of these 9 starts. He has 2 wins. Both came in sprints as a 2-year-old. His other 6 stakes races, he's lost all of them by more than 10 lengths. He's got low speed figures. I mean, he's just doesn't belong with some of these other names in this field. No chance. He's going to finish dead last.
I just look at this and I'm not even sure how he's in this field. I think perhaps there's not a lot of speed in this race. Maybe he tries to get a lead or even just to be up front and tries to hang on. But I don't see it happening. Dude, like you said, 6 stakes races and 10 links back in all of them.
All of them.
I think we can toss Mr. Star Sweeper.
Yeah.
We then go to Further Ado. It's going off at 2 to 1. Irad aboard. Brad Cox is the trainer. Finished 11th in the Derby, but then came back and rebounded with a win in the Matt Win a couple weeks ago. This horse went off as the favorite in the Derby. Your thoughts on Further Ado?
Yeah, I'm glad we get to see him again. He is the favorite in this race. Good jockey with Irad on board and a really good trainer in Brad Cox. As you mentioned, he won his last race, the mile and a 16th in the Matt Win by 2 lengths at Churchill. I don't know what to make of that 11th place finish in the Derby. As you mentioned, he was, if he wasn't the favorite, he was one of the top 2 or 3 choices. He was the trendy pick because he'd won 3 of his previous 4 starts, including that 11-length win in the Bluegrass going into the Derby. So a lot of people were really high on him, and things happen in the Derby when there's a 20-horse field, so maybe it just wasn't his day. But his speed figure, he's the fastest horse in the field with a speed figure of a 107. I mean, he's the favorite in this race for a reason. I mean, I definitely have him as a top win contender.
Look, you look at this horse and you eliminate the Derby, and I think he's clearly the best horse in this field. And I think in a race where you've got 20 horses, you've got 150,000 people in the crowd, just things like this are going to happen to good horses sometimes. And so I think it's an automatic toss. Brad Cox, as a trainer, I think is a huge plus. He won the Haskell with Mandaloon in 21. He won the Haskell with Cyberknife in 22. And to me, this is a horse that you absolutely have to consider to be for the win. And coming off a win in the win,
Yeah.
he kind of proved that the Derby was a fluke.
Yeah.
In the 3-hole, we have Baby Vino, 15 to 1, ridden by Jorge Vargas, trained by Lindsay Schultz. This horse needed 5 wins to get its first victory, but
5 starts.
5 starts to get his first victory, but it's turned into a winner here recently. Your thoughts on Baby Vino?
Yeah, he got off to a slow start in his career. As you said, he was 0 for 4, and then he now comes in winning 2 in a row. He won a mile and a 16th on May 1st at Oaklawn, and he won again in his last race on June 13th by 10 3/4 lengths at Monmouth. So, this is going to be the best competition he's faced. I don't there's not really much, known about him when it comes to running against some of these other quality horses, so he's kind of a wild card. He's coming in hot. I I don't think he's got a chance to win, but, I guess maybe him sneaking into 3rd somehow.
Yeah, he really is, but he's on obviously on the improve. I mean, he won by 10, almost 11 lengths
Yep.
in his last race at the Pegasus Stakes, which was on this track, which I think is an obvious plus. I I think there's a chance that, like I said with at the beginning, there's not a lot of speed in this
That's right.
race. I think he could potentially try to get out front and maybe hang on, and I think maybe he could have the talent to do so. Um, I think he's gonna be overlooked in this race, and you're gonna need to look for somebody to provide some value because you're not gonna get it from Further Ado, and you're not gonna get it from other some of these other horses that
Mhm.
we're about to talk about. So I do think that Baby Vino is a horse that you should consider, for your
Yeah. I mean,
exotics.
he's got a decent speed feat. He's 99. So he's up there with some of the other horses like like the Napoleon Solos and and the Pumas and the Iron Honor. So I mean, he's up there with the rest of them when it comes to his speed. So he's unknown, but I think he's got a chance to get in the money.
Yeah, I mean, it does concern me that it's his first graded stakes race. Like, this is a big
Yeah.
jumping company.
Yeah.
But my main thing is he's probably gonna be around that 15 to 1 number and could be somebody that's worth throwing into your tries or even maybe your exactas.
Yeah.
The Puma is back. A lot of buzz on this horse in the Derby. Would look like he might potentially go off as a favorite or be close to it. He's 7 to 2 on the morning line. Luis Saez gets the reins as Javier Castellano is out with injury. Gustavo Delgado is the trainer. This was your horse in the
It
Derby
was.
until he was scratched. Are you back on the Puma train?
I mean, I was on the Puma train at the Derby. I'm not off the Puma train. I'm still riding and aboard. Still got my ticket. He said he was one of the top contenders in the Derby until he got scratched with that skin infection. He won the Tampa Bay Derby, finished second to Commandment, which we've talked about Commandment plenty of times on the show. He finished second to Commandment by a nose in the Florida Derby, and we know how good Commandment is. It's his first race in more than 3.5 months, which is a little concerning. Coming off an injury, I don't know if how he'll react to that and what he'll be like, but I liked him in the Derby for a reason. I still like him here. He's a win contender for me.
He's already beat Further Ado once. I mean, look, my main thing is the 3.5 month layoff.
Yeah, that's the
And
question.
it's not like he was just sick. Like this was a skin infection that led to him
Swelling.
to being scratched.
Yeah.
I I think this horse is going to get bet too. Uh, he had all that buzz for the Derby. I think the buzz is going to follow him here. I think this horse could win the race. I do. But if I'm trying to win money, I think this is a horse that I'm probably going to lean away from. Uh, Luis Saez has won the Haskell twice, so that's a positive. But I just in a 7 horse field, you're going to have to leave some horse out that is going to be one of the favorites. And just because I haven't seen this horse run in 3.5 months, I think he's going to be the horse that I leave out. It is difficult to do, but just that's a long layoff where we
That is a
haven't
long
seen him
layoff.
go.
Yeah. No, I understand that one.
And in the 5 hole, we have Iron Honor, 3 to 1 on the morning line, Flavian Pratt aboard. Chad Brown, the trainer. We just talked about Puma being your horse in the Derby till he got scratched. This was your horse in the Preakness, if I remember.
Yes, Iron Honor was my choice in the Preakness, and he came up just a little short to Napoleon Solo. Lost that race by 1.25 lengths. Uh, but he's proven he's a good horse, and he already has a grade win, or he has a grade 3 win in the Gotham Stakes when he opened his career with back-to-back wins. He was the favorite. Looked like he was cruising into the Wood Memorial. Was the favorite in the Wood, and just didn't have it that day. He finished a disappointing 7th, which everybody kind of was down on him. Missed the Derby. And then, shows back up in the Preakness and was one of the favorites there. And he ran a good race. He just got beat by a horse that was just better that day. So, he's got decent speed. I think he's definitely, I don't think he's going to win this one. I think there's a few other horses in here that may be a little better. But I would have him in my try selection.
Yeah, they in that wood, like, he was the favorite, but was far outside gate at the beginning, got bumped a couple of times, and really just wasn't able to run his race. That I do think it's harder to ignore him finish 7th in the wood and than it is than to ignore Further Ado finishing 11th in the Derby, just because that
Mhm.
race is such an outlier.
Yeah.
I mean, this horse was coming on strong in the Preakness and nearly got Solo. Now we're going what? We're going a mile and eighth instead of going a mile and a 3/16 here. Um, I think this is a horse that you have to probably consider in your supers or in your tries in your exactas. Um, he's, I mean, he's raced what 4 times in his life, and twice he's won, and he proven that he can win at a greatest stakes level with that win in the Gotham. And so really, he's only had one bad performance. So you got to figure out: do I want to toss the wood, or do I think that is who this horse is? I'm not having this horse as a win contender, but I do think you have to include him in your tries and your exactas.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Napoleon Solo in the 6-0, 5-2 on the morning line. Paco Lopez aboard. Chad Summers is your trainer. He's coming off his win in the Preakness, which we have talked about how we think that Preakness field was not all that great. Are you riding with Napoleon Solo?
Yes, I am. I am riding with Napoleon Solo. I think this race sets up really, really, really well for him. We talked about his win in the Preakness. He did beat Iron Honor, who's also in this race. We talked about that. As a 2-year-old, he won his first 2 starts by a combined over 11 lengths, including 6.5 lengths in the Grade 1 Champagne Stakes. So he's got some big races under his belt. He's proven he could win them. As a 3-year-old, he had a bruised foot, which then that could be pointed to why he didn't finish in the money in those back-to-back races. So when he's not healthy, obviously he didn't run well, but when he got healthy again in the Preakness, he won. So, he's got tactical speed, which, with the lack of pace in this race plays into his hands. And this kind of race is a race that kind of favors those kind of running styles. So, he's got a speed figure of 99, which is one of the highest in this race. I think second behind Further Ado. So I think his running style, when he's healthy, he's won. He plays right into his hands. I think he's a win contender.
Yeah, I mean, this horse as a 2-year-old was looked at as one of the best 2-year-olds in the crowd.
He was dominant.
And yeah, and leading up to the Preakness, I get it that this horse struggled kind of at the start of his 3-year-old year, and you had mentioned a little bit why with the bruised foot. I couldn't ignore this horse in the Preakness because of how good he was as a 2-year-old. And I just thought, like you're saying here in this race, I just thought because there wasn't speed that this horse had, you had to include this horse because he could get out front and maybe wire the field. And that's ended up being what happened. And I mean, this horse has already earned over 1.5 million. So he's proven that he can win big races. I think this is going to play out a lot like the Preakness played out. And because of that, I was on this horse in the Preakness. I'm not going to jump away in this race when I think it's going to be kind of the same pace setup. I think Napoleon Solo is a clear win contender in this race. And then finally, we close with everybody's favorite horse, O'Sully. 7-1, Tyler Gaffley on aboard. Wick Bettman is your trainer. This horse has 9 starts and enters the Haskell still as a maiden. Your thoughts on O'Sully?
I mean, it's the horse that just keeps on trying. There's no quit. I mean, 9 starts and he hadn't won yet, so he's going to keep on giving it a go. He's finished in the top 3 in 3 different graded stakes races. So, he's obviously He's close, but it's one of those close but no cigar type deals. You know, he finished third in the Derby. He kind of wreaked a lot of chaos down that stretch run in the Derby, and kind of knocked a few horses around and ended up getting up for third. He ran in the Ohio Derby in his last start, finished second to Chip Honcho. And Chip Honcho was a horse that ran in the Preakness, so a pretty good horse there at the end of June. This horse did run in the Preakness as well, finished fourth. He's a closer, and with the a little bit of a shorter distance, this race not really favoring closers. I think third's probably going to be his ceiling. I don't see him really factoring in the top two.
No, and really, he's the only closer in this field, I don't think it's going to be a super fast pace. But I mean, how often do you see a horse that has competed in the Derby, competed in the Preakness, all been what third? He's third, fourth, second in his last four races, and this ain't gonna be it. This ain't gonna be where Oselli breaks his maiden.
I don't
I
think
just
so.
and honestly, I don't like if I'm trying to find somebody who's gonna close in and finish in the money. I don't. I think this is gonna be the race where he doesn't finish in the money. I think he finishes fourth or worse, and I am not putting this horse in my tries or my exactas. So I guess your top three in order.
Okay.
And before we get to that, we normally have Matt on the show when we have horse racing. He couldn't jump on tonight. He didn't give us our top three, but he did say that his pick to win is the Puma. Are you following? Are you rolling with your boy, the Puma?
I really want to, but no. I'm not off the Puma train. It's just the 3.5 months. I just don't know how good he's going to come back from that. I think he can be a great horse. I just don't know if he's going to do it in his first race back. I'm not going to go with the Puma to win. My win bet is going to be Napoleon Solo. I got Napoleon Solo on top. Give me Further Ado and the Puma in the try, second and third. So give me Solo, Ado, Puma.
So I want to roll Napoleon Solo. I don't think there was a horse as good as Further Ado in the Preakness. And I do think Further Ado is going to run Napoleon Solo down. Now, will Napoleon Solo hang on for second or third? If I'm trying to win money, I want to say no, because they are going to be going off, I think, as the first and second choice. So who is going to come in second if it's not Napoleon Solo? Where like it's a hard way to find. Like I think you have to put Baby Vino
I'll say if
in.
you want to win money. Now, if the goal here is to win some money, I'd put Baby Vino in the try.
So, and then if you do that, then I think you can go do Solo 1-2, and then just have Vino try to clean up the scraps
Correct.
and to finish in third. And that might be where I lean. I also look at Iron Honor, but I'm like, dude, his odds are going to be right around the same as Napoleon Solo. And who do I like better? I like Napoleon Solo. He already beat him once. This is a shorter race. So I think what I would do is I would box Further Ado and Solo 1-2, and then go Baby Vino in the 3 hole. But for my official pick, I'm gonna go Ado, Nap Solo, and Baby Vino.
Baby
I
Vino.
like
But are you
here's the
going baby? But you're going Baby Vino just for the value, right? Or do you think he's a better horse than Iron Honor?
I'm going because of the value. 100%. Like if you made me pick a third place horse just on quality,
I mean, that's what I did. I mean, I didn't do it for value, obviously, because that trifecta that I said would pay nickels. Like
yeah, I would probably go Iron Honor.
Honor over the Puma.
Yeah, just because of the 3.5
Yeah.
month layoff. But no, I want to go Baby Vito my official third.
Okay.
I think he's on the improve. He's proven he can do it at this track. This There have not been a lot of upsets in this race. Um, let's see. Favorites have won 12 of the past 21. Um, and only 3 Haskell winners since 1992 have started at odds of 5 to 1 or higher. And 55 of the past 63 top 3 finishers have started at single-digit odds. So this is not a race historically that you're gonna get rich off of. So your try there makes a lot of sense. It's just it ain't gonna pay much.